Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. This is the Blvck Religion Podcast, episode number 11, hosted by me, your main man, Religion. And, man, we made it. Look, man, we here, man. 2022, first episode of the year, man. How y'all guys feeling, man? It's been a minute. I hope everybody's done well, man. I hope everybody's holidays was good, man. I hope y'all survived to make it through another year, just like I did, man. I really hope the best for y'all, man. I hope everything went well with y'all this past year. It's been a minute since I did an episode. For a plethora of reasons, we'll get into that. But just thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for listening, and thank you for taking the time out, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and get it right into it. I just ask, really, y'all can just give me like 2 minutes, so I can just basically give a rundown and everything, and we're gonna hop right into the episode. But like I said, to start it off, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. It's been a minute since I did a episode. The last episode I did was episode 10 with my homie Jay Infrared. Excuse me. Shout out him. I should have the link for all of that in the bio. It was a pretty good episode, man. He had just dropped some music and we talked about it, chopped it up. It was a really good episode. I actually posted that one on all of like the podcast platforms when we did it. And then no cap, I ain't gonna lie, procrastination. I procrastinated and didn't put it up on YouTube literally until the other day. So it's just now we're getting on YouTube, but it's been up on all the platforms for at least 2 months now. So I apologize for that. But we back into it, man. I took a break after doing that because I had some personal issues, some personal stuff I was dealing with. And when I got it right back up, I was like, shit, I got about a week or two. I was like, let me just go ahead and wait until the new year. And we just go on, you know what I'm saying, start the podcast then. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. So my goal from now on is to get a podcast episode out a week. You're going to notice that these podcasts are going to be a little bit different than they were in the past because they're going to be a lot more focused. So you already seen the title of the podcast episode today. So I'm getting right into it. Like, you know what I mean? As far as the topics that we're going to talk about. But what I'm probably going to do is have each episode, which is still going to have guests on some of them. Still going to do some by myself. But I'm probably going to have every episode centered around one specific topic. That way, usually I was doing, basically, we would talk about a bunch of different things depending on the episode. But now it's probably like, I'm probably just going to do like stick to one topic per episode, per guest, right? So it'll be a little more focused, I guess. That way you know what you're going to listen to and know what you're here for when, you know what I'm saying, you click on the video. All right, or not video, but whatever. But yeah, with that being said, thank you for guys for tuning in. But let's get right into it, man. This is actually literally one of the reasons I created this podcast is because I'm very opinionated. I have a lot of opinions. I notice a lot of shit. I think I have I don't think I have necessarily a unique perspective, but I do think that I do have a perspective that I feel maybe either a lot of people don't have, or maybe I look at things in a way that I feel like a lot of other people don't. I'm not saying that some people don't see it my way, blah blah blah. But really just as I get older, man, I mean, even when I was younger, I noticed like there was just shit that just didn't sit well with me. Quick example. I always hated the whole respect your elders thing. Because obviously it's like respect your elders, but then it was, respect each other, and you're supposed to respect everybody. So I felt like I was always of the mindset like, I'm going to respect you no matter who you are up until the point you disrespect me. Like, once you disrespect me and you cross a certain line, I don't know what makes you think that I'm going to then keep my respect for you and allow you to disrespect me. So I was always of the instance like, I respect you, but as soon as you start disrespecting me, then I'm not going to respect you anymore, and I don't give a damn if you older than me or not. You know what I mean? So I get in trouble a lot because people would say things to me, and I'm like, nigga, just because you older than me or just because whatever the situation may be does not mean you finna just say shit to me like that. And I mean, literally down to my parents. Like, I used to go, like, especially like the last couple of years, you know what I'm saying, not to get, like I said, it's supposed to be a quick example, but me and my parents used to like literally get in arguments all the time. Looking back on it, yeah, I was definitely being disrespectful. And yeah, I definitely deserved my ass beat in some of the situations, which I did get. But in some of those situations, I still believe no. Like, I understand that you're my parent. I understand that I have a position and a role to play. But at the same time, there's a certain way you talk to me. There's a certain way that you communicate. You know what I'm saying? And just because, literally, just because you're my parent and you brought me in this earth does not mean that you know everything. Does not mean that your perspective is 100% right. It does not mean that whatever I have to say should not be heard or should not be listened to. So I, like, when I got older, like, you know what I'm saying, when I got old enough to really be able to express myself, I would tell them all the time, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be respectful, but as soon as you start cutting me off and cussing me out and all of this, like, why are you expecting me to sit here and, oh, maybe you are right, when you're not even giving me the chance to express my side, my opinion, like, cordially. You know what I mean? I'm not yelling at you. I'm not trying to cuss at you. I'm just trying to say, hey, X, Y, and Z, and you're not even trying to hear that. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's beside the point. So I say all of that to say, even at a young age, I kind of thought about certain things differently than other people. Especially growing up the way I grew up. And nowadays I'm getting older and I'm noticing a lot of things. It's like literally every month, like my eyes just like, it's like my peripheral vision expands. Like I just start seeing more shit. And it's like I'm really passionate about it, and I really gotta get it off my chest. And this first episode is really, I really might as well just name it part 1, because I know I'm gonna have part 30. I do not want to come on here and sound like I'm bashing anybody. Okay, so when I come on here and I speak and I rant and I say the shit, I am ignorant and I say a lot of jokes. But ultimately, I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not here to belittle anyone. Other than, unless you're like, you know what I'm saying? Unless I specifically point you out to do that. But overall, I'm not here to belittle like a group of people or shame a group of people or, you know what I'm saying, belittle a group of people. I'm here to really offer, you know what I'm saying, knowledge. Maybe not knowledge, wisdom, my perspective. I may be wrong. I might be wrong. I could be wrong on everything I say, but I say it with the hopes of you listen to what I'm saying, and if I'm wrong, correct me. If I'm right, then please listen and heed it. You know what I mean? I'm not above criticism. I'm very willing to listen to criticism. If you know me, please criticize me. But here's the thing though, about certain topics, you can say I'm dug in on certain topics. And it's not, and part of it, yes, I'll admit I'm stubborn in some instances. But at the same time, it's like I do my research. So the shit that I'm stubborn with, I feel like I have right to be stubborn in because I believe this for a reason. And I'm willing to change my beliefs if you can bring me some facts and proof and evidence and change my opinion. Because, you know what I'm saying? But my opinion and my shit is based in facts most of the time. So if you're not coming with facts, then I don't want to hear what the fuck you got to say. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, I am stubborn. But I say all that to say this. I've been skirting around the topic, but we're going to get into it. Look, you already seen the topic of the thing, man. Today, we're going to talk about the contradiction of women. The contradiction of women. Now, like I said, I could rant about all day, so I'm going to try my hardest to keep this in pocket, okay? What I mean by the contradiction of women is this. As I said, as I get older, you start to notice things. I realize that women don't actually want what they say they want. And not only that, in some instances, in a lot of instances, I'm not going to say all, but in a lot of instances, I feel like they don't even know what they want. Nowadays is very it's very popular for women to hate on men. I think in this day and age, I think the pendulum has swung too far. Literally in everything. Because, you know, just like back in the days, there was racism and slavery, and I mean there's still racism, but you know, it was like outward, like allowed legal fucking racism and slavery and Jim Crow and all of that shit. And it's like, as minorities, because it wasn't just black people that went through that, but as minorities, we fought so hard to be looked at as equal, to get the same rights to, you know what I'm saying, to have the same opportunities, that now the pendulum has swung so far to the other side where it's like literally we telling white people like they should be ashamed that they're white. Like, that's ridiculous. We're doing the same shit that we were getting mad at them doing. Like, black people, and it's not just black people, minorities are going up to white people and telling white people, you should feel ashamed and you should do this and you should do this, just because they're white, just because their ancestors did some shit. Like, y'all don't think that's goofy? That's not, and that's just what I mean by the pendulum has swung so far. It's like we're overcorrecting now. You know what I'm saying? We're making mistakes the other way. And I feel like the pendulum has swung so far because, in the sense of what I'm talking about, the contradiction of women is, yes, 100% right. Back in the day, men used to have all the rights and women had no rights. And women were treated as less than, and they were oppressed in some ways, and they were abused in some ways, and they were mistreated in a lot of ways, and they didn't have rights, and they fought so hard to get those rights, to get the same opportunities, you know what I'm saying, to be thought of in the same way, that now it's like men are the villain, men ain't shit, and they don't need us. And they don't realize that the pendulum has swung so far that what you're trying to do is you're trying to fight. You say you're trying to fight for equality. You say that you want men basically on your side because you're like, you're saying that, hey, we want to be treated as equals and we want the same opportunities and shit like that. You say that, but it's like your actions are so anti-male and so anti, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much hatred in it that what makes you think we're going to listen and be like, maybe you're right. You're attacking us. And so it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Basically, the pendulum has swung way too far in a lot of ways. And I feel like I see this shit and I feel like I'm trying to point it out. And nowadays, it's so popular to have the opinion that, men ain't shit, and be very outward and outspoken about that. Like, you can have a girl go on her Instagram and just, niggas ain't shit and men are this and men ain't that and all of this shit. And other women applaud it, like it. Hell yeah. These niggas ain't shit. Comment after comment, retweet, requote shit, all of that shit. But it's like, as soon as any dude says anything wrong about a female, there's so many. I'll be honest, nowadays they get less hatred because the tide is starting to turn. But like literally 6 months ago, if a dude was to come out and say women ain't shit or whatever thing, this nigga would get canceled. This nigga would lose his job. This nigga's a misogynist. This nigga, you know what I mean? And it's like, damn, we can't say shit. You know what I'm saying? But now I will admit that nowadays, well, at least maybe because I'm a man and I kind of seek out certain information. But nowadays, I think it's more common for men to now, you know what I'm saying, say something. But that's because we're fucking fed up with the bullshit. Not to say that we don't have a bullshit of our own, because we definitely do. And I'm just as willing to point that out. But that's for a different episode. Right now, we're talking about the women in this episode. But the contradiction of women, I feel like I said, they don't, or y'all don't really know the things that you want. I think, like let's talk about let's talk about relationships for a second. That's part of the big reason why they say men ain't shit, because women, I feel like all men cheat, all men lie, all men are abusive. I don't know. all men are rapists. Uh, I don't even know. And obviously, I'm saying all men. Um, when we say all men, obviously, and when I say and also in this podcast, when I'm saying all women, I clearly don't mean all women. But I'm saying all because I'm saying vast majority. There's billions of people on Earth, so even if I'm talking about 99% of women, that 1%, that's still millions of people. So I'm saying vast majority, but clearly I'm not talking about all people, but most of them. In my estimate, in my experience, um, I feel like if we're talking about relationships, women have this idea that I feel like that they can do no wrong, or that the wrong that they do, it's never as bad as the wrong that a man can do. I feel like anytime you bring up a woman's faults, her go-to thing is, I'm only this way because a man made me this way. Whether that be, oh, well, women are oppressed, so that's why we can't do this. Or, whether it be, my last boyfriend hurt my feelings and lowered my self-esteem, so blah, blah, blah. They just used, you know what I'm saying? And men ain't shit, so there are men that, you know what I'm saying, do use women and traumatize them and shit like that. So I'm not negating those instances that actually does happen, but I feel like sometimes they lack accountability for their own choices, because anytime that it's time for them to take the fault, it's a man's fault, or it's never as bad. And I feel like that's part of the reason why there's so many problems. Like, if you think about it today, right? Like I say this all the time. If a couple, if there's a relationship, maybe they're together a year or two, and they break up, what's the first thing anybody says? Damn, they broke up? What he do? Damn, how we fuck up? All on social media, it's always, it's always like, like he lost a good one, or he'll never meet a girl that does X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. It's always that. But it's like, when have you ever heard a woman ever be like, damn, I fucked up? Damn, I fucked up. I lost a good one. Like, you've literally never heard a woman ever come out of her mouth and say that ever in her existence. And I'm like, I'm not even saying it has to be all the time. I'm not even saying it has to be half the time. But it's like, there's at least one relationship that the woman's fucked up in the world. And never once have you ever heard a woman be like, yeah, we broke up because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do as a girlfriend, or as a wife, or as a mother. Never in your life have you heard any woman willingly say that. She'll say it if forced, if you're yelling and cussing at her and she crying and she got to say it because, whatever. But when, and that's one of the things I feel like we'll never be able to fix the problems if both of us aren't willing to accept responsibility for the problem. You hear nowadays women comparing traditional marriages to slavery, saying when women would cook and clean and take care of the kids, that they were basically like slaves, likening the man to the slave owner. Like, they were just working for the man. And that shit makes me laugh, but it also makes me mad. Because what kind of bullshit? First of all, I don't understand this delusion that women think that men going to work and working, I don't know why y'all think that that's like a prize. Like, we like doing that shit. I mean, we like the rewards of doing it, but like y'all act like we're like us going to work is a fucking where we're skipping through daisies and rolling through fucking tulips. It was a fact back then, back hundreds, 200 years ago, when we were all farmers and shit, and hunter gatherers and all that shit. And it's true now when we're living in fucking apartment buildings and got AC and shit. More men at work die on the job than women have ever had since women's been working. Men on average work more dangerous jobs. We work more hours. That's not fucking fun. I understand sitting at home is boring. I understand raising kids is a lot of work. But to paint the picture as if a man going to work is just like a fucking vacation, I don't understand that. All he did, and this is what's funny, and this is why I say the contradiction, because you have those women who complain because they say, oh, he was at work all the time and I was stuck at home raising the kids. Which doesn't really make any sense, because if you're stuck at home raising the kids, like, you're stuck at home in a house with water and food and lights and bills. That's how you raise the kids, you know what I mean? And it's like, if you're not working and you're stuck at home, how the fuck do you think that shit gets paid for? That's not, clearly somebody has to be doing something outside of your job. But no, of course, we don't get credit for that. But you have those women who complain and say, oh, I'm stuck at home raising the kids, blah, blah, blah. And then you got the inverse of that, where you got women complaining that the man isn't making enough money so that she can be at home. You got women complaining when a man says, hey, I need you to go half because I don't got enough, or blah, blah, blah. You got women complaining that a man is broke and can't take care of them. But then when we go to work and do the things that it takes to take care of you, we are then getting, what's the word? I don't know. Attacked, I guess. Blamed, because all of a sudden now we're not there. I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways. Or you can have, there are women that do have it both ways. There are women, but we're gonna get to those, because those are the exception of women. Just like those are the exception of men. Though there's only a very few men that make enough money where you don't have to work and you can do nothing and still have enough time to do nothing and be at home. That's usually the actors and the entertainers and those type of niggas who don't have to work year round, but the average man has to work year round. The average person has to work. We have to work 40 to 50 hours a week. We have to give you that lifestyle that you say that you want. So if you want to get an actor and an entertainer, then I would like you to look at the women that those actors and entertainers are with. And I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you that quality of woman? Because I doubt it. You're an average woman, just like I'm an average dude. So stop trying to knock my work when you're not putting in the work. I'm not an actor and entertainer. I don't make millions of dollars. I'm a regular dude. I got a regular job. So if you're a regular woman that got a regular job, you got a regular body, you got a regular mentality, stop expecting me to be 1% when you're not. Don't hold me to a standard that you can't hold yourself to. I think that's only fair. And I think men know this. I think it's only women that don't accept this. From my perspective. Now, if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. But don't just tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong and come with some evidence. Please. So, a woman working, raising kids and cleaning a house is slavery. Okay. So my idea is, what, to those women that say that, what is your idea of a perfect marriage? Because as a woman, unless you're one of those women that don't want to have kids, that's another topic for another day. But for the average woman wants kids. You want to get married to a dude and you want to have kids. Okay? But you feel like raising those kids and cleaning up is slavery. So you're not going to clean up and you're not going to raise kids, I guess. Or maybe you are going to raise kids, but you're not going to clean up. I don't know how that works. But whatever. Okay, but also it's more than just cleaning up. But I guess because there's also the cooking aspect too. Okay, so you're not going to cook. You're going to do very little cleaning, and you might raise kids. And I say might because I got to be honest. This is another topic, but a lot of women have this idea in their mind that they're great parents, and they're not. There are a lot of shitty dude parents. There are a lot of absent fathers too. But just because you're there in a kid's life does not mean that you're doing a lot better than some people are. You want a cookie? Good job. You're in your kid's life. But that does not mean that you're a good parent. But again, that's a different topic. A lot of women think that they're good mothers just because that they are a mother, and that's not the case. So raising the kids you might do correctly. And then also when we're talking about this 1% of women, when the man has an excess amount of money, usually the kid is in daycare and has tutors and shit. And let's be honest, let's really be honest, once the kid is like 6 or 7, what is parenting? Because once I was in public school. I went to school early in the morning, got home late afternoonish. My parents was really only parenting like 4 or 5 hours a day, really. And what is really whatever. Anyway, just whatever. That's a different topic. But so you're not gonna cook, you're not gonna clean, and you're gonna raise your kids, but you expect the man to take care of you. There's also this thing amongst men. I don't know. I'm sure women have heard it. I'm sure they've heard it. But it's also a very common saying, I guess, common stereotype, whatever. Saying, I don't know. Like once couples get married, it's always a saying that once they get married, they stop having sex. Consistently. So we don't have to throw that in there, but let's just throw that in there just so I can prove my point a little bit more. You're not cooking, you're not cleaning, there's a chance that you're not even raising your kids correctly, and you're not even having sex. But you expect a dude to go to work, come home, pay the bills, and let you live in excess. Because let me also throw this out there. The average man makes around $50,000 a year. Around $50,000 a year. And also, a man doesn't reach his financial peak until around 40 to 50. So, if you're a 20 or 30-year-old dude and you're making about 30, 35,000, 40,000, yeah, an average woman doesn't want you, because an average woman thinks that she's going to get a man that makes $100,000 a year. An average woman says that she wants to do making $100,000 because she wants to live in a big house and she wants cars and all that shit. So basically, she wants to live in excess because you don't need that. But she wants to live in excess. So she wants a man who's going to give her access. So she wants to live in excess and not be responsible for anything other than herself. But men are the problem. But men is the only reason shit doesn't work out. Okay. I just don't understand. Obviously, there are those women who disagree. There are those women who do want to raise kids and do raise their kids well. My mother was one of them. She was not flawless, but she did a hell of a job raising 8 kids. So they are out there. There's a lot of women. My girlfriend, the mother of my daughter, is a fabulous mother. They are out there. But there are those shitty mothers as well. And we don't talk about those. We never talk about those. I've never seen a segment on shit mothers. But I've seen numerous on absent fathers. I'm not saying that absent fathers don't deserve to get shitted on, because they do. But, come on now. There's 2 sides to this thing. I'm getting a little off topic. I'm trying to stay on topic. But, marriage is slavery. And nowadays, it's weird because women nowadays want to get married for love. And honestly, I gotta be honest, I'm in a relationship. Getting married for love is stupid. It's dumb. Love is an emotion. Just like every other emotion, it can go away very quickly. It cannot. I'm not gonna say it cannot last. I think love can last, but it's not a guarantee that love will last at any stage. Marriage is about more than just love. Marriage is about building a family. It takes more than love to build a family. And honestly, the longer you're in a relationship, how can I say this? Love, I'm not going to say love isn't, how can I say, the longer you're in a relationship, especially when you have a family, love is very important, but it's more, that love turns more into, at least for dudes, turns more into a responsibility. It's more of a duty now, at least for men. Not even at least for men. It is like that for men. And I don't think it's like that for women. I think love is an emotion for women. Feel love. Women feel love, I mean. Men feel love too, but when a man says, damn, I love her, I love that woman, it's more than just an emotion. It's okay. That emotion comes with a sense of responsibility, with a sense of what's the word? Like weight. Like that, it means more than an emotion because now I have a job to do. Because as a man, if you love a woman, you can't just love her. You have to love her, and then you have to provide for her, and then you have to protect her. And ultimately, you have to lead her because you're the head of the household. And when you're in a relationship with a woman and you're trying to build a family, you then become the head of the household, which means you also have to father children. We act like being a mother is the hardest job and the only job that matters. But I say fathering a child, I'm going to say after having the child, after physically giving birth, after obviously the men don't give birth. After the physical labor, the physical process of having a child, fathering and mothering are just as hard, just as demanding, and if done right, just as effective. And if you don't agree with that, then I ask you, did you have both of your parents in your life? And were both of them good parents? My father wasn't really in my life, but I had a stepfather who was in my life and did an amazing job. Now, he, again, was not perfect, had many flaws. But as a father, he did his job exceedingly well. As a mother, she was not perfect. She was a human. She had a lot of flaws. But as a mother, she did her job exceedingly well. All of my siblings, all 8, well, I'm one of 8, so all seven of my siblings, we've had our struggles, we've had our demons, but we're standing. We're self-sufficient. We're on our own, and we're doing well. That is a product of both of my parents. And I say, having both of my parents, there's hella things that my mother could not have taught me even if she wanted to. There's a lot of things that my mother could not give me the perspective of, especially as a son. As a boy, I needed my father. My father set examples in ways that my mother could not. And that's not because my mother wasn't good at her job. It's because my mother was my mother and not my father. She was a woman. So the perspective and the lessons that she could teach me are not the same perspectives and not the same lessons that my father could teach me. They were both equally valuable. And if you feel like you'd be If you grew up without your mother or if you grew up without your father, I feel for you. And I'm sure that your parent tried their hardest to be both, to do both. But it's impossible. As good a job as they did, they could not give you the guidance of both. 9 times out of 10, you seek that in other ways. If you're a dude, and you grow up with just a mother without a father, 9 times out of 10, you got a group of dude friends that you were with more than you was with your family. There was an older dude up the block or maybe up the street, or maybe he was a cousin that you looked up to and you latched yourself to because you needed male guidance. It is literally a fact. If a boy does not have male guidance in the home, he will go out and seek it in other ways, which is why, again, I'm getting off topic, but which is why in these lower incomes, there's a lot of gang activity in the same areas where there's a lots of absent fathers. Because when a bunch of group of boys don't have an example or a role model to follow, they will look in other ways, so they go to their peers. But if there's a father in the home, the male won't look to go to his peers, or won't look as much. I'm not saying they won't, but they won't look as much, especially if that father's a good father. But again, I'm going off topic. I think women have this delusion that all men, or that they think that because they were able to fight said oppression that they were under, they were able to fight for their rights, they were able to come up in the world, they feel like men were the people that they were fighting. They feel like men are the enemy, and they say they want equality, but it seems to me like they feel like they're better than men. I honestly believe if women had the physical strength that men have, that we'd all be like slaves or something right now. And I say that like half jokingly. I just don't understand. They say throughout history, men have done nothing but oppress women. We've done nothing but abuse them and belittle them, and we don't respect them. We've never respected them. Right? But then on the other hand, they come at me and say, now chivalry is dead. What? Marriage, you were a slave. You were a slave when you were married back then. Cooking and cleaning and raising kids, you were a slave. Women didn't get married for love back then. They were sold into this. This is what women are saying. They were sold into marriage. They were treated like property. Marriage was nothing but ownership of women. Women were raped, abused, and beaten by all their husbands. This is what they're saying. This is what women say. Men were oppressing them, forcing them to stay home, treating them badly. That's what they say that men used to do. But then turn around and say, oh, chivalry is dead. Men don't respect women anymore. If what you're saying is true, men never respected you. So what are you talking about? Which one is it? Okay. Obviously, I mean, there's obviously no one here, but okay. I thought so. Um, I just don't get it. They we're being told nowadays it kind of died down a little bit, but it was a thing to say toxic masculinity. Uh, Women hate toxic masculinity. It's when men, because we don't show our emotions, or anytime a dude does something feminine, men come down hard on him, and it's borderline homophobic. Uh, Men are afraid to basically be emotional and be vulnerable. They say they hate toxic masculinity. They say that all men are pigs. We fuck anything. We're not loyal. We always cheat. We fuck anything with legs and a post. um, Men are violent. We cause all the wars. This is what they're saying. We cause all the wars. We beat people. We abuse women. We beat them. We kill. We do all of this shit. But yet, men ain't shit. But yet, throughout everything I just said, women try their hardest to beat us. I can do anything a man can do and better. They tried their hardest to be masculine. It was toxic masculinity at first, but now you're trying so hard to be a man. You hate us. Men are pigs. We fuck anything. We fuck everything. But now, women, it's okay. We tell other women, go fuck everything. Go. If you want to fuck somebody, go fuck them. I'm a strong, independent woman. I say this all the time. I think strong, independent woman is stupid. If you are bragging about being a strong, independent woman, you are stupid. You want to know why? Let's look at the flip side of that. A strong, independent man. You know what that is? Redundant. That's a redundancy. A strong, independent man? That's just a man. That's just a man. If you're a man and you're not strong, if you're a man and you're not independent, then you're not a man. According to society. So you're bragging about being something that men are expected to be. Not only are we expected to be it, it's like we have to be. As a man, if you're not strong, and I don't even necessarily mean physical strength. I just mean strong, maybe strong-minded, strong-willed, determined. If you're not a strong, independent man, if you're not independent as a man, if you're not able to be self-sufficient, if you can't provide for yourself and others, you're not a man. But I'm supposed to pat you on the back because you're a strong, independent woman? Good job. You're doing what every other man is doing. You want a cookie? Oh, you do want a cookie. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I don't get it. We ain't shit, but you're trying so hard to imitate us. You're trying so hard. Not all women, obviously, but a lot of them. What do you want? You want a man that's not masculine? Really? You want a man that's never a dick? You want him always nice? You want him soft? You want him emotional? Is that what you want? No, you don't. Truth be told, if there was a dude that was just like you, and I'm saying you, like as whatever female is listening to this, whatever woman's listening to this, you would not want him. It's literally a fact. This is a different topic, but you can look it up. I'm going to start looking up these statistics and I'm putting the links in the bio, because I don't want y'all to think I'm talking on my ass. I know what I'm talking about. Granted, in this episode I won't have them, but I swear to God, starting in the next episode I will. So trust me, just give me a chance. But it's literally a fact. This is a fact that, you know how they always say like men beat men and men. I mean, not men beat men. Men beat women and we're abusive and all of this shit. You know, like domestic abuse and shit. It's literally a fact that domestic abuse happens more in lesbian couples than any other relationship. Which means the relationship where there's a woman in a relationship with another woman, there's more domestic violence cases in those situations than in any other relationship. It's actually funny because in gay couples where it's two men, there's actually less violence. That's literally a fact. Literally a fact. There's statistics to back that up. You cannot disagree with that. So what does that tell you? But it's men that ain't shit. That's the only reason that relationships are failing and we're the problem. I don't get it. I believe that we're equal. And I believe we're truly equal. What I mean by equal is if there's a scale, a balance, there's men on one side and there's women on the other side, the balance will be equal. The balance won't be tipping to one side. That does not mean that we're the same. We're actually quite different. Two plus two is 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. We're equal. We're not the same. There are things as a man that I am naturally better than you at. For example, as a man, I'm stronger than you. I'm not stronger than all women. Obviously. I'm not even stronger than all men. There are plenty of women that are stronger than me. But on average, if you take 10 average men and you take 10 average women, those average men are going to be, what's this, 7 times stronger? Was it 7? 7 times stronger? Quick example, I did weight training in my junior year of high school. There was women, like, at the end of the year struggling to bench the bar. The bar itself is like 35, 45 pounds. When you're bench pressing, you put weights on each side. The bar itself is like 35, 45 pounds. They couldn't lift that in high school. These are regular females in high school. There was not one single dude in my class that by the end of the year wasn't at least doing 120, 130. And we were slacking the fuck off. Half of us anyway. Did not care. Was not lifting weights. It was just another class that we gave no shits about. We came in on Fridays because they let us play basketball. Average male is a lot stronger than the average female. We're different. Men have a lot more testosterone than women do. If I'm not mistaken, men don't have any estrogen. Women have a lot of estrogen. Our hormones are different. The chemicals in our body is different. You know, your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, all of that shit, you know that's based on chemicals in your body, right? You know your brain is just one big fucking electricity ball with juice, basically. When you feel happy, when you feel sad, that's just chemicals in your body. That's your body releasing serotonin and stopping other fucking... I'm not a scientist. I'm not a goddamn doctor, but we all know what I'm talking about. Most of us anyway. It's just chemicals in your body. It's just science. You have more of one chemical than we do. And we have more of this chemical than that. So our reactions to things are going to be different. If I give you a cup of water and a cup of gasoline, right? It's still both a cup, right? Same measurement. But if you put a lighter in one of them and a lighter in another one, it's going to fucking react differently. We're equal, but we're not the same. So expecting us to think the same way, to react the same, to do the same is dumb. Us expecting you to do the same, to react the same, to think the same is dumb. We're not the same. And you know what's peculiar? I'm not good at speaking. Peculiar. You know what's very interesting? It seems like, as a man, the things that I'm bad at, it just so happens that women are really good at. And you know what's even crazier? The thing that I notice women aren't really good at, men are fucking great at. Wouldn't it be great if we just came together and worked together as a team instead of being at war? Instead of you trying to do what we're doing and we're trying to do what you're doing and fighting, destroying ourselves, stressing ourselves out. You know, I was actually online today. There's just a common misconception about the divorce rate. It's actually not 50%. It's actually a little bit less than that. It varies between 40 and 50. Actually, this actually shocked me because I believed the exact opposite. People are actually getting divorced less. There are less divorces now than there was 30, 40 years ago. You know what's crazy, though? The marriage rate has dropped just as much. So, people aren't getting divorced as much, partially because people aren't getting married as much. And actually, it's weird. It's kind of weird. But women get married at a higher percent than men. It's like men get married at like a 73%. Not 7. It wasn't 73. It was I'm sorry. Actually, it might have been 73. I'm sorry. I'm like I said, I will have the stats in here to prove this up. But if I'm not mistaken, it was men get married at like 73% and women get married at like a 75% or whatever. It was like very close numbers. But women got married at a higher percentage, which literally means that women get married more often, which is kind of weird. But what that means is if a couple gets divorced, if a man and woman get married and they get divorced, that woman is more likely to get married than that man. More likely to get remarried than that man. And also, it's also a statistic that once you get divorced the first time, every time you get divorced after that, it's like 10 times more likely to get divorced. So if you get divorced and you get married again, if you divorce then you're like 3 times more likely to get married and get divorced again. Like, it's weird. I don't feel like thinking about the math, but yeah. I think there's this misconception, not even a misconception. I just think, if you remember in elementary school, they used to have like a prism, like those light things. You could like I guess like a kaleidoscope type thing. You look through it, and it was like the light would refract and make like shapes and shit. I feel like men and women, we're just looking through like 2 different kaleidoscopes, or maybe we're looking through them the same, but it's like we always like switch them, because it's like we're looking at the same thing, but for some reason we're seeing different things. Like, for some reason, what I'm seeing isn't matching up with what you're seeing. I think, there's a lot of problems that men have, and like I said, I can get into that. I probably might even do that next episode, because I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to bash women, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I would like to make it fair. But I just believe that there's a lot of double standards that benefit women that they don't talk about. They only want to talk about the benefits, the double standards that benefit men. I feel like there's a lot of times where a woman will, say, I want to get treated as like a man. I want to be treated as an equal. But come to find out, she really wants to be treated like a woman, just have the perks of a man. It's kind of like those goofy women that still argue about the wage gap, because if it's 2022 now, and if you still believe in the wage gap, then you're just uneducated. Point blank, period. But it's like those goofy women that like still believe in that. Like, I just feel like you're purposely, how can I say it, misleading yourselves. And you're like you're pulling yourself into a deeper hole. And it's like, you don't want to accept the reality of the situation, the reality of the situation. And I don't understand it. I don't know. It's like, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and they came to the conclusion that the reason why, the only reason there were differences between men and women were because of the way that we were raised. They were saying that we're the same and we're only different because growing up, they put you in a blue crib and they put me in a pink crib, and they gave you a toy, an action figure, and they gave me a Barbie doll. That's what they said. They said if it weren't for that, we'd both be the same. And that actually hurt my feelings. Not that they said that. It was just because it was like, damn, they graduated college and they said that. Like, they looked me in my face and said that, and I was looking in the face of somebody that actually has a whole degree, and graduated from college and just told me that. It hurt my feelings. I was like, damn, I knew college was a scam. I didn't know it was this much of a scam. I didn't know they was not only they was going to make you broke for no reason, they was going to literally rewire your brain into some bullshit. I just don't get it. I apologize. That was off topic, but I don't know. I started this off saying I don't think women know what they want, and that the things that they say they want, they don't really want, because, or maybe it's not the things that they say they want. They just don't realize, it's like I liken it to like Coke Zero. Coke Zero, it's like Coke with no sugar in it or whatever. So on the surface, it's like, yeah, I can drink my soda and it ain't got no sugar in it, and it still tastes just as good as regular Coke. But they don't realize it got a shitty ass aftertaste. So you getting that Coke Zero, and actually depending on if you're diabetic or not, it's actually it's more unhealthy to drink Coke Zero than is regular Coke. But anyway, it's like you want it because on paper it sounds good, but you're not willing to accept the full pack. You're not willing to accept what comes with it. And you think that you can have it's kind of like I don't even like this saying because it really makes no sense. Like, have your cake and eat it too. It's like, bitch, it's cake. Literally, like, what am I supposed to do? Right? But it's like you want it, but you don't even. It's like you're trying to like pick and choose. And this is originally why I brought up the wage gap thing, because it's like women will complain and be like, why aren't more women CEOs? Like, why aren't there more women CEOs? Why aren't there more women owning these companies? And it's like, okay, come here, come look at this. Why aren't there more women working these shitty jobs? Why aren't there more women in coal mines and trash and construction and all of this shit? Why don't women want to do the shitty jobs? Why you only want to do the good ones? Before there were CEOs of companies where they were sitting in offices and, air-conditioned rooms, they were in the fucking, warehouse in the heat, working their fucking hands to the bones. And you're going to wait until we got air conditioning and office buildings and all of this shit to now all of a sudden you want to be CEO. No, start from the bottom just like we did. Get your ass down there, throw my trash out. Put it in the trash sanitation truck and throw that shit at the dump. There's virtually no women working in sanitation. There's virtually no women working in construction. Those are just two jobs I can think of right now, but jobs along those lines, there's virtually no women. I think it's like those jobs is what? It's like over 89% men or something like that, depending on the job. Now, granted, I guess 10% is a lot if we're talking about millions of people, but we're talking about millions of people, so 80 over 10 is still crazy. No woman's complaining about not having those jobs. I've yet to hear a woman complain that a man didn't expect her to pay for her meal. Like, there's a thing where, as a dude, when we go on a date, it's like, it kind of like, it hurts my ego. Like, honestly, it hurts my ego. It used to. I'm gonna tell you this about. It used to hurt my ego a little bit if I went on a date and my girlfriend had to pay. Like, literally, there were times earlier in our relationship where she would give me her card so that when they asked for the fucking thing, I would give them the card. Because at the time, we was both like just right out of high school and shit. We was both broke. But at the time, I ain't had no money, so she would pay. And then there's other times I would pay, but regardless, the time she would pay, it would hurt my ego. Like, when has a woman ever felt that on a date or anything? She's felt it the opposite way. She's felt, I gotta pay for my own date. Oh, fuck this nigga. She definitely felt that. But she ain't never been like, yo, damn, he gotta pay for the date. I feel bad. What? Stop. I have a decent amount of female friends. They've all admitted to going on dates for free meals. They knew they ain't like the guy. They knew they wasn't going nowhere with the guy. They knew the guy was trying to date him and take him out, and they knew damn well that he was not giving them time to date. But he was trying to take them to their favorite restaurant, so they went. They didn't have to pay. They didn't feel guilty at all. That's not a double standard. That's not. That doesn't need to be rectified. Where are the women fighting for that? Where are those women at? They don't exist. You got the women who would be like, oh no, I'll go 50%. I don't care. I'll pay my half. It's like, yeah, you will pay your half because, and I appreciate it because you recognize the severity situation. You realize that in America we live in excess, and going out on these dates and all of this shit that women think is a necessity is actually an excess. All of that shit that you say you want and that you need, you actually just want it. You don't actually need it. You just want it. It's excess. It's not a necessity. You don't have to go on vacations every year. You don't have to. I mean, shit. I mean, I could really go a lot further than that, but you don't have to go on vacation. You don't have to go out as often. I don't have to take you shopping. Because women think that a man has to take you shopping nowadays. Like, huh? What? Do you not have a job? So, but anyway, the women that do have jobs and do understand money and do understand the situation do be like, yeah, I'll pay half because I'm not ridiculous and I understand the world we live in and the day we live in. So yeah, they'll pay half, but that don't mean they want to pay half. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to pay half either. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be taken care of, but there is something wrong with thinking, being entitled to it, thinking that that's a necessity. There's something wrong with accepting no less. Thinking that you're so good and that you're so great and that you're such a whatever that you have the right to tell a man that he has to spend his hard-earned money on you just because you want some food, and you think you don't have to put your part in just because you have a vagina. There is something wrong with that. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to be provided for. I want to be provided for, honestly. Now, I probably wouldn't let it happen because that would hurt my ego. Like, if like my girl won like $1 million or like $100 million tomorrow, like I would quit my job, but I wouldn't stop trying to find ways to make an income and to make money. Like I wouldn't like stop my music and my podcast and decide to live off my girl. Like I couldn't do that. And I feel like not to, disrespect other dudes, but any quote unquote real man couldn't do that either. I couldn't just live off my girl and be comfortable with that. It's kind of weird. But that's just me. But a lot of women aren't like that. A lot of women would love to live off their dude. A lot of women, that's their goal, is to find a dude who they can live off of. Get out of poverty free card, basically. And then think that if you're a man, if you're a man that can't be used that way, if you're a dude who can't be used as a get out of poverty jail free card, then you're just a lesser of a dude, then you ain't shit. I just don't get it. I don't get the mindset. I don't understand the mindset. I don't think you know what you truly want. Because you say bullshit like that. And you follow bullshit up. And you say you want a guy that is nice and treats you with respect and gives you all his time, his affection, his attention. But then as soon as a dude with a decent amount of money, fair complexion, and some nice hair come along, you'll fuck that nigga on the first date knowing he got 3 kids and he taking care of them. Knowing he ain't had a girlfriend longer than 3 months and like knowing all of this fucked up shit about him, knowing he ain't shit. But because he got money and he look good, you'll be willing to overlook that shit. And then when you get played because an ain't shit ass nigga that was ain't shit from the beginning did some ain't shit at the end, you want to act all surprised and heartbroken. No, you're not heartbroken. You're just stupid. I'm sorry. You 100% right. Getting stabbed sucks. If you ever got stabbed, I'm sorry. But if you walked into a building and the sign said on the building, yo, you walk in here, you getting stabbed, bitch, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry you got stabbed, but you read the fucking sign. You willingly walked into that building. That nigga ain't tried to hide it. The nigga had the sign right out front. Now, if a nigga had, you know what I'm saying, nice ass building, nice ass house, had the sign in the back, you know what I mean, had the windows closed so you couldn't tell and you thought it was a nice house and you went there and you got stabbed, then all right. Then you a victim. Then I feel sorry for you. But bitch, stop it. There's a lot of ain't shit niggas that's been ain't shit from the jump. You know how I know? Because I've told so many of my friends, hey, yo, that nigga ain't shit. Don't do it. And then they come back, oh, he ain't shit. I shouldn't have did it. But that's men's fault. I mean, yeah, it's his fault because he ain't shit. But you willingly, like, you walked into that. That's your fault. Take some responsibility, some accountability. You knew he had 3 kids and wasn't taking care of his kids. Now you pregnant. You decide to keep the kid and is mad because he's not taking care of the kid? What are you talking about? What are we doing here? You're not a victim. You're an accomplice. At that point, you know, like the whole like Ghislaine Maxwell trial went down. They were trying to be like, oh no, he brainwashed her. And it's like, nah, motherfucker, you recruited too many females and you did way too much to try to act like you're a victim now. You were a victim at first, yeah, maybe. But no, bitch. That's, at some point, there is a line. At some point, you gotta accept accountability and responsibility. But I feel like for a lot of women, that's hard. It's damn near impossible. It's always the man's fault. I can rant for days. I can rant for hours. I really got about 4 more hours in me. I ain't gonna cap. But I'm gonna say that for another day. I just want to say, if you still listening, man, thank you for tuning in to the Blvck Religion Podcast, man. This is just one of many to come. This is only one small snippet because I have so much more I can say about this topic and about so many other topics. And that's what this podcast is for. It's for me to express myself. Hopefully somebody hear this, maybe offer in a perspective that I don't have. Bring up a valid point that I don't see. Change my mind. Or maybe you disagree with me and you heard what I said and I changed your mind and I brought up a valid point or a valid argument that you didn't see. I'm putting this out there because I have a daughter that's growing up. She's young now. In about 15 years, obviously, she'll be 15. Or I guess now 16, so she's 1 now. But in this 15 years, I would like for the world to be a place where she's not misled. As a father, I can only do so much because I remember being a kid, and as great as my parents were, I still was heavily influenced by a lot of stuff outside of my household. And so I'm just hoping to make the world a place that the influences that my daughter gets aren't as bad as they could be. And I'm also trying to raise her to not fall into those traps, into that influence. I feel like this new wave of, not necessarily just feminism, but this new wave of thinking, this new attitude towards relationship, towards men, towards life, I'm not liking it. I don't think it's productive. I don't believe it's helpful. I believe is actually harmful. And I refuse to poison my child. So that's what these episodes are for. That's what this podcast is for. It's hopefully to shed light, make a difference. Thank you for listening. I am Religion. You can find me specifically on Instagram, R3LIGION_. It's Religion with 3. Find me on Twitter at the exact same thing. You can follow me on Snapchat at IkeOfficial, IKE.official. You can find this podcast anywhere you find podcasts. Everywhere, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora Podcasts, all of that. At the Blvck Religion Podcast, foreign footage, if you want to, on YouTube, 4 with the 4, that's 4EIGN footage. Dropped some music recently. You can check that out on my page. I also got a visual for one of the songs, Chains, on my YouTube page as well, also at foreign footage. So check it out. If you like anything I said, agree with anything said, go ahead and leave a comment, like, subscribe, all of that nonsense. And thank you for listening. We out.